Thank you for staying on the pulse. Now, Joy FM will on Monday, January 30, 2017, host a major debate on the relevance of the Council of State. Now, the Council of State is established by the 1992 Constitution to counsel the President in the performance of his functions. But over the years, many Ghanaians have questioned its relevance, especially as its advice is not binding. The fifth Joy debate, which comes off at the Alisa Hotel on Monday, is on the motion the Council of State should be abolished. Interesting, isn't it? Well, Nicholas Opoku is coordinator of Thought Leadership Programs at Joy FM. Nicholas, thank you so much for coming. First, let's talk about what the Joy Thought Leadership hopes to achieve with this debate.
Okay, so as you rightly said, the Council of State is established by the Constitution to counsel the President in the performance of his functions. Now, if you read the 2011 report of the Constitutional Review Commission, it tells you that there are a number of people who questioned why we need an elaborate body like the Council of State of about 25 members with the sole purpose of counseling the President, especially when its advice is not binding. We know that the Supreme Court ruled in the Ghana Bar Association versus the Attorney General 2016 that its advice is not binding. But of course, the counter-argument would be that advice should not necessarily be binding. If you're going left and I counsel you, you should know the pros and cons of going left. So it doesn't necessarily have to be binding. Yes, so what we seek to achieve with this debate is to assess the institution of the Council of State with a view of offering some proposals that policymakers in the country could consider and adopt.
So who are the key debaters?
Both debaters are lawyers. The person speaking for the motion is Mr. Sekyedumase Daniel. He's a junior partner at Kolendi at Law. And speaking against the motion is a veteran lawyer, Mr. Kojo Benzi Encho. He's a senior partner at Benzi Encho Lecha and Ankama firm.
Interesting. I can't wait to see that. But what is it going to look like? Is the public invited? How can they, participate in this debate?
Everybody is invited. And the interesting thing is that once you come to the Alisa Hotel, after the speakers have made their points, you'll be given the opportunity to ask a question, to make a contribution. So we're entreating everybody to come around and participate in this debate. The most interesting thing is that we'll all be walking away with deeper insights into the operations of a body like the Council of State.
And so I'm just curious because nominations ended yesterday, and we know, I mean, it's rumored that a gentleman as young as 21 picked up nomination forms, and the oldest person who's picked up
75,
almost hitting almost 84.
Yeah.
So it'll just be interesting, and it falls within the right time frame and an interesting context. So what's the kind of debate you're expecting to see?
Well, this debate is modeled after the US presidential debate. It's a pound-for-pound debate. We've introduced a segment of the debate called the debated vow. So one debater makes a point and simultaneously rebuts another. Another comes in and quickly makes a point. So it's a very exciting debate. It keeps audience on the tips of their toes as well as debaters. So it promises to be very, very interesting and intellectually stimulating.
I like that, intellectually stimulating.
Right.
Just quickly give us a bit of the details again, the time and how people can participate and where exactly this debate will take place.
Okay, so the motion is that the Council of State should be abolished. Speaking for the motion, Daniel Sekyedumase, private legal practitioner. Against the motion, Mr. Kojo Benzi Encho, another private legal practitioner. The time is 6 p.m., but we entreat audience to get seated by 5:30 p.m. It's at Alisa Hotel, and we're entreating everybody to be there. If you're unable to make it, you can listen on Joy, my Joy Online, and our partner stations across the country.
And I think one thing we missed is the time. It's at 5:30 p.m.
The program goes on air at 6 p.m.
Okay, but
because
you must be seated
exactly
by 5:30
Very
p.m.
well.
I can't wait to see this. Show the Council of State be abolished, and that is the motion for the Joy FM Thought Leadership debate that will take place on Monday. I'm sure it's something that you'd like to listen to. I'm just keen to see the kind of legal perspectives these two gentlemen will be bringing to the fore. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for joining us. Thank you so much. And away from this, NPP members at Sekyedumase in the Ejura Sekyedumase district of the Ashanti region are vowing to resist the appointment of a municipal chief executive from Ejura. Now, a group calling itself Concerned Members of the MPP say it will be unfair for the political head of the area to be picked from the district capital because the Member of Parliament already hails from there. Now, it says such development will breach what members describe as a positions between the two towns. Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin has more in this report.
At a press conference on Thursday, the aggrieved party faithful accused party leaders of seeking to concentrate political power at Ejura at the expense of Sekyedumase. They claim after submitting their preferred candidate's name for consideration as MCE, two other candidates emerged from Ejura. Spokesperson Stephen Echampon promises they will resist any attempt to sidestep their choice.
Upon the submission of our application of our preferred candidates for Sekyedumase and its environs, we were informed by the constituency chairman that two candidates from Ejura have also submitted their applications for nomination as the next MCE. It was an information that didn't sit well with us at all. Because we wanted unity in the party and also to strengthen the front of our beloved party in Sekyedumase and the constituency at large, our parliamentary candidate for the 2016 election went unopposed. The people of Sekyedumase and its environs drew all their support in cash and kind to help him win the seat for the second time. But an unfortunate incident happened. This shows unity, togetherness, and brotherliness in the constituency. We thought that in the same spirit of unity, togetherness, and brotherliness, our twin sister town will pave way for the old order to continue so as to maintain the already existing unity in the constituency. We feel that the people of Ejura are trying to hijack the constituency by using their numbers to bully Sekyedumase and its environs in the areas of appointments and development. We want to state it emphatically clear in all humility that this trend will not be allowed to take root in the constituency. For this petition, we wish to bring to your notice this convention, which was contravened by the NDC in 2008 and in 2012, much to the displeasure of the people of and chiefs of Sekyedumase and its environs.
One of three chiefs who are said to have undertaken the convention, Nana Akwesi Abu II, added his voice. We all agreed that the municipal head must come to Ejura, and so the MCE must come from here. It will be good for all of us.
The Ghana Institute of Languages wants the newly created Inner City and Zongo Ministry to collaborate with local Arabic teachers to speed up transformation of targeted communities. Immediate past director of the Institute, Dr. John Gajaku, says Arabic teachers are well placed to partner government to implement its policies. Kwesi reports.
Dr. Gajipo wants state support in areas of infrastructure and land acquisition. He was speaking at the graduation of the first batch of Diploma in Arabic Education program in Kumasi.
All our vehicles are old. They're over 10, 12 years old, and there are only 4 or so all over the whole country. So we'll need, as I said already, land and or building. We need money for vehicles and also to be able to engage teachers immediately. And when those things are running, you'll see that in a few years' time, the Zongo communities will begin to be transformed without people even knowing. You see, because it is the young ones who are now going to school, who are now going to be taught by teachers who know things, how to transform their lives and make them move, get jobs, and transform the societies. So the Zongos, they will be building new things there. They will go outside and build new things, and so the outlook of those communities will just change to the benefit of the whole nation.
Head of Arabic Department, Abu Mensa, disabused public perception Arabic is meant for only Muslims.
We have many Ghanaians who go to Kuwait, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, and so on and so forth, just to transact business. One cannot transact business, or we cannot strengthen our relationship when we don't understand each other or one another. So I think that it is an opportunity for us to study Arabic in order that we can strengthen this relationship. Not just between businessmen and women. Of course, at the government level, it's very, very important that we study Arabic, so that if, for example, you are good at Arabic and you are a minister or you are holding a key position in the government, comes to negotiation, I believe that you can be of help, of men's help. So in many ways, learning Arabic can help, this nation of ours as a whole. You see, so it is just not being a Muslim, but of course being somebody who is serious about learning the language.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
The chiefs and people of Brekuso in the eastern region are appealing to the government to implement firm measures to prevent encroachers from developing the land around the GBC mast in the area. Now, residents of the area suspect that the mast and the land surrounding it has been encroached upon by real estate developers. The Brekuso Hene, who also doubles as the Trafohene of the Kapim traditional area, or therefore Oting Krache II, told our sister station Adum TV that if the situation wasn't rectified immediately, the result could be disastrous.
2013, we had an individual who reported a case to us. This
Mumrana. Sabi Ghana yinade na se abanwo ejapadibia Ghana for the Fibri be 60s and a GBC for obey people so ma wode won television po besi ho esebu Ghana nyina besani yanti bi boni bia ho na ente yehu se nipa bi duru people no na say wo si duru people no ebedu bibia ebia aban japade wo ho a ebu Ghana man nyina na ebesai ani ntina me bo modern se me from na sa aban hu ya na aban hu na ohu ne ekoso na le me ho mi nim se bia aban ni nipa wo bo aban japade ho ban sinti ameka sa ne se GBC abandia enti anka baby a GBC wo machines ne niama wo esebo o memuni nyina no enti se yinya bambofo bi ewo ho na sisi ya si ya trase na ya hwe ne yanka ho asem na wo duru pipo yi ebedu baby na nsu sha setuto na duru se japadia ebe kan Ghana man nyina na no ne botati tru a ema me frem na me de ato aban anim ni titru president Nana Akufo-Addo anim se omo modern no omma wo mehwe na won siw saade a woreye no ano na fe wonu eduanua e wo pepo no e se mo hwe pepo na mo se nwura atwa ho ana kwaye atwa ho asia na eno na protect pepo na anya den enyuru sesi ya transit won say na tese asehwe ana ederebre Ghana ma nti butai titiri a mefrɛ mu sɛ momra na mommɛhwɛ na momma ɔmanfo aso nti.
So you just heard Odefo Tim Krache II. He's the Trafohene of the Kapim traditional area, who's speaking to our sister station Adum TV on some encroachment around the land where the GBC's mast is located. Now, basically, all he was saying is that if something belongs to the government, then it belongs to every member of the country, and that's why they are defending the land and protecting it. Now, away from that, I'm sure you may have heard of the Obingfo Hospital. Well, on the 5th of January, the Dental and Medical Association shut down the facility over issues of public health concerns. But we picked up news later that the facility had been reopened for operation. Today, the authority visited the place again, and there was another shutdown. My colleague Matilda Wemega was there. And Matilda, let's talk about this Obingfo story, because it's just quite surprising that he had the guts to open this facility that was shut down by the Dental and Medical Association.
Yeah, the Medical and
Dental Association Council. Sorry about that. But just give a brief background to how we got here.
Okay, so So according to some checks that I ran, I was told that the facility has been operating since 2012. But you know, in 2013, Kwame Boateng and Manasseh Azuri came up with this story following some concerns that was raised by some patients who had earlier visited the place, and we were told that someone died somewhere in 2013. That aside, there was several patients who went through some surgery, but it went bad. So those people at the moment, some of them are at Kolebu receiving treatment. So following these concerns that were raised, we followed up on this story, Joy News, and then the Medical and Dental Council took interest in it, and then they started doing their own background checks and all that. And quite recently, we heard that they moved to the place, and this came to light when they realized that the doctor in question, that is Dr. Dominic Obeng Ando, was operating without a license, because his license was due. He was supposed to renew it somewhere in 2013, but he failed to do that.
All right, so Dr. Dominic Obeng Ando is actually accusing the Medical and Dental Council of victimization. Now, he says that he doesn't know what he's done, but he feels that there's someone there who just doesn't like him. What has been his response in all of this?
Well, today we didn't get the opportunity to speak to him, but I spoke to him on phones 2 days ago, and then he assured that he was going to speak to me on the issue, but he hasn't returned my call since. But away from Dr. Obeng Ando himself, but the facility, according to the checks I ran, doesn't even have a license.
Okay, so the facility does not have a license, and the doctor running the place also doesn't have a license.
And you know, it's a four-story. The first and the second floor houses the
clinic.
The clinic. The theater is on the first floor. And usually, based on this kind of surgeries that are being conducted in there, one would want to look out for an environment which is conducive for all that goes on in there. But I tried climbing up, and there's no lift one. It's just a narrow path. It's a sharp stairs that has been created there, and you would wonder what kind of surgeries that are being conducted in there. So that aside, the Medical and Dental Council is assuring that indeed they are going to make sure that the lives of people are protected, because some people still do not know that the place doesn't have a license. The doctor in question also doesn't have a valid license. And even that aside, you remember that when the place was locked down somewhere in January 2017, he went to the court seeking injunction.
A very interesting development.
Exactly. So do you remember that the lawyer that was actually representing him in court also didn't have
a license?
So
double dilemma.
Yes, exactly. And I've been speaking to the deputy registrar at the Medical and Dental Council, and he told me they will go all in to ensure that the right thing is done.
All right, but before we go into that and pick up excerpts of that particular interview, let's talk about how they hope to prevent, the owners of the facility from reopening.
Well, if you look at the place in question, I would say it's a partial close down, because I told you it's also a residency, so they can't completely lock down the place.
So I'm getting the impression that if you want to go upstairs, you need access through the clinic.
Exactly.
So if they shut down the place, it means those who live up
will be affected. So they had to leave one open for people who live up there to have access through.
Interesting, Matilda. We'll pick up that interview you had shortly. This is the Pulse. Take a quick break. When we come back, we'll bring you that interview. Please stay with us. Welcome back to the Pulse. Before we took the break, we were discussing the second shutdown of the Obingfo Hospital, where they'll do what they call advanced body sculpture. Now, they've been in the news for some time, and my colleague Matilda Wamegan, who's been following the story and visited the facility today to witness the second shutdown, has been giving us some updates. So, Matilda, before we went on the break, you were talking about the fact that the council says that it is confident that it will not be reopened.
Yes, they are saying that yes, for now there's not much they can do except to lock up the place, because all that they are doing, it's in conjunction with the CID, and they are hoping that the investigations will be concluded soon for the criminal prosecution to take place.
All right. And you've been speaking to?
I've been speaking to Dr. Divine Banyumbela, who is the Deputy Registrar at the Medical and Dental Council.
Will we use all the powers available to us as an administrative body and as are in accordance with the due process of law to protect the Ghanaian public? And I think that is sufficient. Remember that the police, we have actually reported he's continuing to practice to the police. And I've told you that we are working together to ensure that we protect the public. And so that is, I will leave it like that, because I don't want to say more than that. Okay. I think for obvious reasons.
Is it about time we have a relook at the act that binds the council? What exactly must be done?
Thank you very much. And I couldn't have agreed with you the more. You know, the area of our practice, medicine and biotechnology around it, the knowledge changes at a very rapid pace. And so you'll find that the healthcare delivery system of this country has evolved over the last 2 decades. In fact, we used to finish and just go to the district, the medical officer, and you did everything. You didn't go to school, nothing. But now things are different. We require that doctors and practitioners generally continue to renew their knowledge on a daily basis. And before your license is renewed for the following year, you are supposed to have accumulated certain credit points under the continuing professional development programs, which are duly accredited. The content and these are assessed by the council, and then accreditation given. So it is when you come back, then at least we can satisfy ourselves that we are not renewing a license to a blind driver. We have now gone into medicine. There's specialization. So very few doctors now leave and just go and don't specialize in anything. So there are surgeons, and some surgeons is not enough. They go and specialize into plastic and reconstructive surgery. If you go to Kolebu, there's a whole department. Orthopedic surgery, urology, all that, ENT surgery, cardiothoracic surgery. And then there are sub-specializations of that. That means that as a regulator, our response is that, and we have taken a policy decision to where we now have different categories of the same register. So the permanent register that we have, we are going to now separate the register to show people who are just general practitioners and people who have specialist training in specific areas of their practice, so that you would then know that you have to then work within a certain scope. And if you go outside that scope, you do it to the detriment of your license.
So that was Mr. Divine Bayambula. He's the Deputy Registrar of the Medical and Dental Council. So, Matilda, really, what do we hope to see with this case in conclusion, finally?
Well, looking at some of the pictures, I haven't really seen the patients, but looking at some of the pictures I saw at the Medical and Dental Council with regards to
the kind of complications,
surgeries, and the kind of complications people have been left with following their visit to that hospital. I hope that indeed this issue will be followed to its logical conclusion.
Thank you very much, my colleague Matilda Wemega. She's been talking to us and bringing us some updates about the second shutdown of the Obinfo Hospital by the Medical and Dental Council. This is The Pulse.